Alright guys, a question I get often is which one do I buy? Which is better, spinning or casting? So I'm going to go through the differences here between the two. I'll start with the casting. The majority of the bass guys, the professional bass guys, you'll see them fishing a lot of the casting reels and that. The casting reel is a bit frustrating in the beginning to get going because you do get a bit of overwinds and that, but once you get the hang of it, it is easier reel to fish with. Now the difference is you don't get much line twist on this, so basically the line is going straight out, it's coming straight back in, especially if you're throwing crankbaits or jerk baits or something like that, spinner baits. This is going to give you a lot less line twist. You do get a couple of overwinds, and once you get used to getting them, you know, the wind is blowing and that, it is quite easy to get out. It's a little bit more accurate when pitching in that. So if you're in a close environment and you want to get into smaller gaps and things like that, the pitching on this rod is a lot easier than on a spinning rod. Okay, it's very, very, very basic. Just underhand, flick it out. And so pitching in little holes, pitching in little gaps in cover and that, this rod is a lot easier than a spinning rod. As I say, the line twist is also very good. But nowadays, guys, they make spinning rods just as good. So it boils down to your preference. The spinning rods nowadays are getting stronger and stronger. So they, in the old days, these were a lot stronger. They couldn't handle as heavy line. Nowadays, these guys are just as good as anything else. You do get a bit frustrated when you're fishing line. In that you do get a bit of line twist if you don't know what you're doing. Swivels do help. The swivel does take a bit of the line out. If you're fishing a Carolina rig, it takes a bit of the twist out the line. But every now and again, all you got to do is pull the line out, stretch it a bit, or put a sinker on it with a swivel on, throw it out, cast it out, you get rid of that line twist. But then fishing braids and that, this will take a braid and it's a little less frustrating than the baitcaster with braid, and that if you get a knot on the braid there, it's very difficult to untangle, where here the braid goes on very easy, comes off very easy, and yeah, a lot more easier to manage braid on a spinning reel than on a baitcaster. Right, casting the spinning reel, basically look for the line that's hanging out here, take it, this little finger, grab hold of it, don't close your finger around it, just hang it, hold it tightly so it doesn't go anywhere. The weight of the rod will hold it in place. Right, and then to flick it, it's just a basic little flick. Open your finger, click it closed. Very important, as soon as you click it closed, grab hold of the line, pull it tight, and then make 1 or 2 turns so that your line is tight, and then you can start retrieving. A lot of people make mistakes and they get their wind knots like that, is that they don't take in the slack and they reel in those little loops and it goes under the spool, or it makes a little wind knot. So basically, grab hold of it again, flick it out, close the bail arm. It's always easier to close them than to do it, although this thing does have an automatic bail chop when you turn it. It's better to do it this way, that you always ensure that there's no loop in there, and then start winding. Once you got it pretty tight, you can just carry on winding normally. But as I say, it boils down to your preference. Both of them are good. My personal preference is normally a spinning rod because I can do multiple types of fishing with it. I spend a lot of time in the salt and surf and things like that, where a baitcaster is a little bit more difficult to use in the surf and a lot harder to clean than a spinning reel.